The Superstition Mountains of Arizona contain a rich history of myths, legends, lost gold, and mysterious disappearances that have captivated people's imaginations for over a century. Rising dramatically out of the desert east of Phoenix, the rugged, mountainous landscape seems almost supernatural. Home to stories of murderous Apaches, cursed gold mines, strange beings, unexplained disappearances, and the dead still guarding their hidden treasures within these foreboding peaks and canyons. The main legend, the Lost Dutchman gold mine. By far, the most famous legend surrounding the superstitions is the Lost Dutchman gold mine. In the mid-1800s, Jacob the Dutchman Waltz, a German immigrant, claimed to have discovered a fabulously rich gold mine somewhere hidden within the Superstition Mountains. The story goes that Waltz would periodically appear in Phoenix with bags filled with extremely high-grade gold ore, yet kept the location of his mysterious mine tightly secret. Waltz vowed to take the place where he got all that gold to his deathbed. In 1891, after a lifetime of wandering through the superstitions and extracting untold amounts of gold, the elderly and delirious Waltz is said to have described the mine's general location to Julia Thomas, a boarding house neighbor who showed him immense kindness on his deathbed. Allegedly, his last words included a cryptic description: 10 steps from my bed to the porch. Downhill 65 feet to the largest flat rock point on the hillside just left of poplar tree and crevice. Based on this description, countless fortune hunters have searched for the mine's location, but all have failed to find the exact spot. When Waltz died, some say he still had gold ore hidden in his small cabin, but others searched thoroughly and found nothing. Over 130 years later, despite technology and modern search methods, the Lost Dutchman gold mine has evaded discovery. Still hidden somewhere deep within the sun-scorched and snake-filled cliffs and canyons of Arizona's Superstition Mountains. Legends of death and curses. The Lost Dutchman mine is allegedly cursed, with death coming to those still searching for the gold, due to people perishing within the rugged mountains over the last century and a half. The superstitions have earned a reputation as being dark, dangerous, and deadly. Those who dismiss the idea of curses attribute the high number of deaths in the superstitions to a combination of the difficult, exposed terrain and poorly prepared hikers falling victim to the extremes of the desert wilderness. Flash floods tearing through slot canyons, rattlesnakes, scorching heat, sheer cliffs, and dehydration have indeed proved fatal to many visitors. However, others believe the spirits of Native Americans and frontier-era settlers still haunt the mountains, defending hidden troves of gold. Bizarre deaths and unexplained disappearances of those searching for the Lost Dutchman mine have given rise to tales of a cursed, gold-filled supernatural realm hidden within the rugged terrain where ghosts, shapeshifters, vortexes, evil shadows, and protective entities still linger. Apache Death Trap. According to legend, the ancestors of a Native American tribe called the Apache once ambushed and massacred more than 100 Mexicans who ventured into the superstition seeking gold. The slaughter was meant to send a warning that the mountains and their gold belonged to the Apache. In the 1870s, Jacob Waltz is said to have witnessed the aftermath of the massacre during his wanderings deep within the mountains. After stumbling upon what became known as the Apache Death Trap, he reportedly discovered one mortally injured Mexican left among over 100 mutilated bodies. As Waltz bent down to offer the man some water, with dying breaths, the Mexican revealed they had been mining a rich vein of gold, but were attacked by Apaches soon after they struck gold. He gave Waltz crudely drawn maps showing routes through the canyons, marking the gold mine with an X in a secluded canyon. He made Waltz swear to find the gold, take it, and use it to help others before dying soon after. Waltz would spend years exploring the mountains, but supposedly took the location of the gold mine to his grave, unable to recall the exact spot where the tragedy had occurred so many years before. Theoretically, the Lost Dutchman mine could be the same mine where the Apache massacre took place decades earlier. Perhaps the spirits of slain gold seekers still haunting the gulches and mesas of this forbidden range. Some also believe the surviving Apaches continue to protect these lands from intruders, sharing tales of strange, glowing-eyed spirit guardians sighted within the mountains. The Peralta stones, one unusual geologic feature connected to the Lost Dutchman legend, are the Peralta stones said to be a key clue leading to the gold mine's location. In the 1920s and 30s, a number of carved stones were discovered close to the Superstition Mountains that contain strange markings. Many believe these signify a map pointing the way through Peralta Canyon to the site of the mine. Interpretations regarding the purpose of the stones and deciphering the signs varies widely, but they indicate distances in either miles or paces from an unknown starting point. Other symbols include swastikas, astronomical signs, and the mysterious line with 3 dots known as Jacob's Ladder. The Peralta family was one of the most prominent families in early Arizona of Spanish and Mexican heritage who had many gold mines in the 1800s, leading many to speculate that a member of the Peralta family created these as clues to guide others to a rich offshoot mine in the heart of the superstitions. However, the Peralta stones may also be an elaborate hoax or diversion meant to throw searchers off with false clues, not actually marking a path to Waltz's legendary lost Dutchman mine. Faded etchings on the rocks indicate the stones and markings may actually date back over 400 years earlier to record native symbols or directions used by conquistadors, explorers, and Jesuit priests searching for legendary gold mines. And the 7 cities of gold, long before any European settlers entered the region. In a strange unexplained twist, numerous fires have mysteriously broken out over the years, specifically around the Peralta stones, severely burning and charring the rocks, and largely destroying the mysterious script. One theory suggests some entity or beings are actively trying to prevent discovery and access to wherever these stones lead. Sightings of strange beings and ghostly manifestations. In addition to legends about lost mines, hidden gold, and deadly curses, modern day witnesses report encountering a wide range of bizarre entities and unexplained phenomena in the superstition wilderness. Glowing balls of light, shadow figures, mysterious drones, strange vortexes that eerily distort the landscape, flying creatures, and beings with luminous glowing eyes are among some of the weird occurrences reported by hikers, campers, and adventurers within these mountains' confines. Some attribute glowing aerial lights and orbs in the region to natural sources such as ball lightning, bioluminescent birds, or fireflies gathering together, which could create impromptu swarms of glowing colors. However, many sightings defy conventional explanations and seem to exhibit purposeful, intelligent maneuverability, or interact with observers as if under control of some unseen force. Various Native American legends speak of watchful spirit guardians that manifest as strange lights, entities, or animal forms to ward off and instill fear in those who may threaten sacred sites or come for gold that isn't rightfully theirs. Among the numerous reports and rumors captured over decades from visitors to the superstitions wilderness, some particularly bizarre stories and experiences stand out. The Steinck brothers' encounter. 2 brothers were searching for the lost Dutchman mine in June 2010 when they spotted extremely tall figures peering at them from higher elevations through the rocks. The enormous creatures seemed somehow cloaked or camouflaged to match their background when motionless, but shimmered brightly if moving. According to the witnesses' report, they looked humanoid, over 15 feet tall, with skin that appeared textured or scaled with almost amphibian qualities. After observing the figures for an extended period, trying to decipher what they were seeing, the brothers fled the area, terrified by the encounter. The Blind Devil prospectors in the late 1800s told whispered tales around campfires of encountering a demonic form within the superstitions known as the Blind Devil. Shrouded in black, reeking of death, with flowing white hair and empty, sightless, glowing eyes, the entity was said to stalk those wandering deep into shadowed canyons alone. Tales spread of prospectors driven mad with terror after encountering the Blind Devil, running out the mountains, raving incoherently, never to return. Some say it guards lost souls and unimaginable wealth hidden away for eternity. But those who see the Blind Devil are destined to disappear into the inner gulches forevermore. Piercing blue eyes in Peralta Canyon. 3 college kids backpacking in the wilderness reported seeing a collapsed mine entrance in autumn 2016, half concealed by rubble, with unusual carvings etched into the weathered wooden beams. As they approached, they all clearly heard violent rattling coming from inside the mine, as if a warning to stay back. Fleeing the area through the creek, they looked behind them to see a very tall figure crouching next to the caved-in shaft. 2 bright blue eyes shone from within the shadows, silently watching them leave. An overwhelming sense of being unwelcome made them abandon their intended camping spot to retreat far downstream. They refuses to identify exactly where in Peralta Canyon their unsettling encounter occurred. Ghost camp for generations, stories have spread of stumbling across a mysteriously abandoned campsite, with tents still erected and campfires with coffee pots still perched upon them. Food on tin plates, but not a soul in sight for miles around. First appearing in a remote clearing, the mysterious phantom camp will vanish again upon return trips, leaving no trace. Explanations range from time warps to lingering illusion, remnants of ill-fated gold seekers from the 1800s overlapping our present reality. The National Park Service does not acknowledge any traditional ghost camp legends among superstition wilderness backpacking lore. Some adventurous souls actively seek supernatural encounters among the allegedly haunted crags. Paranormal researchers, UFO hunters, cryptozoologists, and amateur investigators routinely conduct nighttime treks into remote corners using thermal imaging cameras, electromagnetic frequency meters, and electronic voice phenomena recorders searching for signs of otherworldly activity or strange creatures. Most leave empty-handed, but a few came back with bizarre photos, recordings, and stories that keep legends of the superstition's secrets alive, as supernatural or not. Even if no ghosts, monsters, aliens, or strange vortexes inhabit the mountains, the superstitions possess such a wild, mysterious aura that such possibilities seem plausible amid the towering cliffs guarding forgotten secrets. Unexplained disappearances and Benjamin Mr. Lubeck Malchus. Rumors persist of secret areas within the superstitions where people have utterly vanished without reasonable explanation, only to turn up days or weeks later, dazed and confused, with no memory of where they were. Some emerge claiming total amnesia, while others babble insanely of ghosts, underground cities, enchanted woods, savage beings, or gods punishing their intrusions. Even those eventually found dead deep within rugged terrain without their shoes or equipment are deemed suspicious by some, as if their bodies were purposely placed far from where they actually perished. The lack of clothing or items is often attributed to scavenging coyotes. However, deep canyons, abandoned mine shafts, flooded caverns, and heavy brush could obscure locations of unsolved disappearances still concealed within the mountains. A few baffling missing person cases connected to the superstition cycle. In 1931, Dr. Thurston disappeared near the base searching for the lost Dutchman mine. His body was never found. In 1933, a Mr. Vincent was last seen alive resting at the foot of Superstition Mountain before vanishing permanently. In 1955, Friar Ernest Bryn was so intent on finding the lost Dutchman mine that he lost his way, dying of exposure with diary in hand and pencil poised to record the mine's location. His journal ends mid-sentence with his final recorded thoughts: mining shafts, gem-laden walls of whatever secret Bryn glimpsed that winter's eve died alongside him. However, the 1948 vanishing and subsequent reappearance of Benjamin, Mr. Lubeck Malchus remains most mysterious of all, defying easy categorization or logic, after 30 long years lost amid the towering cliffs. In January 1948, the elderly J.A. Malchus left his home in Lubeck, Maine, headed to Arizona following a treasure map and ancient Peralta stone he recently acquired. The letters Veld PM with an arrow were carved into his map stone, indicating Malchus interpreted it as a clue leading to the vein-lost Dutchman Peralta mine. Deteriorating health left the 70-year-old in a desperate rush to finally discover the long-sought, legendary wealth hidden away in the peaks and canyons near East Mesa, in the Superstitions wilderness. Witnesses recalled seeing Malchus eagerly boarding the train west from South Station, Boston on Christmas Day, destined for Phoenix. But Malchus was never heard from again after arriving in Arizona to resume his quest into the mountains. Despite search efforts by local authorities, no trace of Mr. Lubeck was ever found, given his age and inexperience venturing into such inhospitable terrain. Most assumed the elderly man had wandered off, getting lost in the caverns, arroyos, and washes, never to emerge again. 30 years later, in March 1978, Benjamin Malchus suddenly reappeared, staggering out from Superstition Mountain, lame and bewildered, but still gripping an old leather satchel engraved J.A. Malchus. The initial missing person report from 1948 described it as the bag he departed with decades prior. The disoriented man was also clutching weathered pages of parchment, filled with bizarre, rambling passages and cryptic symbols describing vast crystalline caverns filled with golden objects, luminous beings hovering about, mystical voices, enchanted forests, and mapping coordinates of hidden locations deep within where the earth breathes. Hailed as a miracle to those who remembered the 1948 search efforts, the withered Mr. Malchus claimed no memories of anything biographical from the past 30 years. His clothes and shoes were mismatched as if scavenged, his nails overgrown and curled grotesquely from what examiners presumed were decades deprived of proper nutrition or sunlight. Mr. Malchus was reportedly emaciated, deeply dehydrated, confused and disoriented, but intensely focused on clutching onto his old satchel, maps, and journal even when offered food or water. Before anyone could begin unraveling the mysteries of why Mr. Malchus suddenly emerged in the same spot 30 years later, appearing severely aged and amnesic, he vanished again after less than 48 hours, escaping the Phoenix hospital overnight, dragging his satchel away. A scrap of parchment left behind contained a single handwritten sentence: "I must return to the breathing crystal caverns. Time grows short." Despite vigilant monitoring and security, there were no witnesses to Mr. Malchus' disappearance. No traces were ever found beyond the hospital and he was never seen again. Debate continues today over the enigma of Benjamin Malchus. Some speculate the frail old man suffered profound memory loss and simply wandered the rugged wilds around Weaver's Needle, surviving off insects, carrion, and questionable water sources for 30 years before by pure chance blundering his way back out again. They argue Malchus, in his dementia, incorporated local lost Dutchman lore into imagined ramblings on his tattered papers. There were no luminous caverns, just a confused mind shattered by endless days of wandering alone. Others among true Dutchman believer circles insist Mr. Malchus slipped into supernatural time rifts within forgotten inner mountain tunnels and emerged decades later, still clutching the same satchel, showing no signs of aging. They argue he accessed crystal vaults filled with enchanted treasures, overseen by powerful guardians mentioned in native legends, vague references to returning before an alignment past recalls stories related to maintaining celestial ley line maps, guiding the way to secretly concealed locations, thereby preventing clues from falling to outsiders. What scattered writings could be deciphered from his journal seem more mystical instruction than incoherent madness. Today, Benjamin Malchus' legacy continues, igniting fiery debate regarding rational explanations versus supernatural possibilities. Skeptics arguing psychological breaks versus paranormal phenomena skewing perception of time itself amid the infamous vortex energy concentrated around Arizona's Superstition Mountains. The baffling case remains wrapped in legendary status, as much mystery as the mountains themselves still keep closely guarded. Did Mr. Malchus cross some barrier when he originally went missing in 1948 to enter a timeless realm? Or had he simply wandered amnesic until by pure chance, he emerged 30 years later, out from the inner gorge country, for a brief moment only, to be drawn back again as mysteriously as he first appeared? The enigma of Benjamin Malchus ensures the superstition's reputation continues as a strange land where unsettling fates befall unwise gold seekers, and those questing for forbidden secrets best left buried forever in unmarked graves far beneath these peaks, blankets of stone and scrub brush.